Hey there, Strat fans. It's me, Colonel Strat, the strategy extraordinaire here, and today I'm going to be showing you a very peculiar strat that I use for a lot of monster heavy factions. So this is called the Monster Soak strat. So this is kind of a mid-tier strat that I don't really use that much because it's kind of hard to predict when is the right time. But I will show you both instances. Two instances where one is very favorable and one is very not favorable for the strat. But it is still very effective in both circumstances with the monsters. They do their part, but there's a cheese with the one we're showing here. So as you can see, we have a small lizardman force here, concerning of a carnosaur, some temple guard, and a slam mage priest up against a more numerous Skaven force. So the reason why the balance of power is up here is because our troops are better, but we're not going to be using these guys if we don't have to. All on the Carnosaur. So if we resume, see, I'm going to have, it's just the mage priest, and he's a lore of life. The lore of life I found is probably the best lore to do this strat on, because what you want to do is you'll charge in your big melee monster into the enemy melee line and hope that you can secure enough of them to stay there with you. See, we were able to pull in all but 2 of these Skaven clan rats. So the majority of the force is now situated with him. So now we have our Slam Mage Priest. He's casting spells. He casted Flesh to Stone, which increases his physical resist, and that means that he can literally soak up all the damage that these guys are doing around, while dealing a lot of damage to them. So, as you can see, he's going to want to splash. He's not taking any hits at all because he's got this, and then he's also got the barrier that the Slam Mage Priest is doing. Now, they did circle around and attack us with their troops, but that's why the Temple Guard are there, just to guard the Slam Mage Priest. But as you can see, he's able to literally just soak up the enemy forces and not take any damage. He's taking damage now, but once we start casting spells on him again, you know, this is a very effective strat to just like whenever you're against a melee force, the enemy AI tends to blob, and the blobbing makes it to where it really does prioritize your monster, because the monster is able to move in the blob, whereas the infantry soldiers are not all able to hit. So it makes them more susceptible to the counter spells while they are blob. And also this strat is a very effective one for maintaining the blobs. So like if you want to do some big old vortex spells here, you can do that as well, as long as you keep your Carnosaur topped up, or whatever monster you have here doing the blob. As long as you keep them topped up, they'll continue to blob the enemy and just wear them down and tank all the damage. So any damage that they are doing to him, he's able to tank it all. Now, with later game units, it can be a little difficult. He might actually take some damage against Storm Vermin with halberds and other bonus versus large guys, but you could still outdo it by the Flesh to Stone, because that's a 66% buff to his physical resist. So he's literally not taking any damage because of that. And then, you know, that right here, the Shield of the Old Ones, gives him 20% damage resistance flat. So that means flat off the board, all damages, all resistances are buffed by 20 for 20 seconds. So, and then, you know, he's able, the Slam Mage Priest is able to spam spells into the blob, causing morale issues and damage and all that. So it is very effective against infantry formations, as you see, because they tend to blob, and that is the most effective way to do it, because when they blob, they don't all slap on the monster unit. while the monster unit can do a lot of damage, splash damage, mostly to the enemy infantry. But you'll see this isn't as effective against, say, missile troops. But you know, that'll be the next one. Yeah, see, he's able to just slap his tail around. He's not taking that many hits because he's, you know, not all of them are able to swing at him, and those that do are able to heal up. So as long as you we focus so many spells on this guy, Flesh to Stone, the regrowth, and I think Laurel Life is the best strat to do, spell lore to do this strat on, just because of how much you can overheal, and the Flesh to Stone is very effective with it too, especially when you're going up against physical enemies like mortals. Demons with magical attack, you may have a problem with that, but you can get the Shield of Thorns, which does the damage reflection to the enemy, which that's okay. But the Shield of the Old Ones, Supreme Shield of the Old Ones, is a very good one as well. So a Slam Mage Priest already has that ace in the hole as well. And he's able to just see, he's done over 100 kills, 7,000 damage, whereas they've done very little damage to him because of his resistances. See, he's got that Flesh to Stone right now, 66% of non-magical attacks. So he's a powerhouse right now. And then we're able to do Awakening the Wood, and that will finally break them. So as you can see, it's very effective against an infantry formation, but a lot less so versus a missile formation. So let's go on and show you what it's like against a missile formation. Alright, and for this one, it's going to be a little bit more close, even though we do have pretty much the same units. I did add a Skink Oracle to help supplement with the, because he's got all of these spells like Earthblood, Harmonic Conveyance, the Flock of Doom, Wind Blast, Wild Form. He's got buffing spells that could help the Carnosaur, but with one monster, it's a lot more difficult against missile units, and you're going to see why, Strat fans, as we get into it. So it starts off normally, but this time we're going to want to keep our infantry forces up with the monster, because the monsters are going to become big targets against these gutter runners. And because the gutter runners have 49 speed, they're going to be able to get a good amount of chase before we reach them. So again, we have Flesh to Stone, so that's a good one. We always want to try to cast it as you're going there. But you see, the Skink Oracle's always taking fire, so I'm charging him in, and we just have to charge everyone in, or else we'll take fire from all over, and then we cast the shield. We get the gutter runners, we get them man down. But you see, when you catch the enemy missile units, they're a lot easier to kill in the melee. But if they break the melee, which their AI will do, they'll just start peppering you, and you'll start taking damage from missile fire, which does not. The physical resist does buff that up, but they'll be able to. That's what they're going to skirmish, so they're going to run from you, meaning they won't blob. So it's going to be a lot harder, a lot longer, and a lot more tedious and time-consuming to kill them all. Even though they have a tendency to stop where they are and fire at you, it still isn't good for you, because you're still going to get peppered and attacked with their ranged weapons. Even though we still win this one, we still take a good amount of damage. Both the Carnosaur and the Skink Oracle still take a amount of damage because, again, you can only blob up so many units at one time because the units are skirmishing and they want to fire, so they will break the combat. And if you have one monster like a Carnosaur, you're not going to be able to blob all of them because they're not going to be blobbing towards you. So, you know, you hit one, and the other two behind on the other side, they're going to start firing at you. So, you know, that's why it's less effective against missile units, because you're not able to just soak the damage because, you know, because they're missiles, and they're able to actually fire at you. Whereas when they're blobbing in melee infantry combat, only so many entities are able to swing at you at a time, whereas all the entities in a missile unit are able to fire at you, resulting in more damage dealt. You see what I mean? And you see, like, we're able to catch this unit, but that unit there that routed, it might come back, and then that unit there, that route might come back as well. So, and then if this unit breaks, it'll start firing. It's gonna, you see it skirmish away, and then start firing at our temple guard. So, and then you see that one right there. It's coming back, and it's going to start firing instead of charging in. So that's going to cause problems because we have to micromanage a lot. But if you micromanage it just fine, and you have enough monsters, like if you have a monster for each enemy missile unit, then you'll see it very effective. But you have to micromanage it just right, because if you don't get it just right and one of them is able to get a volley off, if they get too many volleys off, that could spell destruction for your plan. So you got to make sure, if you use this strat against missile troops, that you make sure you have the right the right micromanage. So without further ado, strat fans, I'll conclude this week's strat guide. Keep it strategic. Colonel out.